Hello everybody, I'm Katie and welcome to this week's book review, which is about The Singular and Extraordinary Tale of Mira and Goliath by Ishbelle Bee. Now, this book is made of magic and fairy wings and crocodile tears and clocks and shapeshifting and all the wonderful magical things that are in the world and outside of the world and under the world and over the world. And I loved it. This was a 5-star read for me. However, before you now hop on Amazon and buy this book, it is not for everybody. I like weird stuff. This book is very weird, so we get along well, but more about this later. Alright, so what is this book about? Also, look at the super pretty cover. I wish the book was not paperback and this was all gilded, and I would buy it and love it forever. But anyways, so pretty cover. What is the book about? It's kind of hard to explain. There's a lot of random things happening and in the end everything makes sense, but so, we have our Mira and Goliath. Mira is a little girl, she's 6 years old, and she's been stuffed into a grandfather clock by her grandfather, and something happened to her in the clock so that she's not entirely human anymore. Goliath is her shape-shifting guardian. He can change into basically any kind of animal he wants, and they want to find out what happened to Mira in the clock. And then we have also Mr. Fingers, who is the lord of the underworld, and he wants Mira and wants to eat her because she holds a lot of power now and he wants to have that power. So he wants her, he's after her. And then we also have our Mr. John Loveheart, who was abducted by Mr. Fingers when he was a little boy and grew up in the underworld. So now he's a prince of the underworld and he can do a little bit of magic and things that other people cannot do. Also, he's completely crazy, and yeah, it's about Mira partly. I don't know, it's about a lot of things, this book. So as I said, also this is set in Victorian England, so the year that we are almost prominently most of the time at is 1888. I say most of the time because this book jumps around in timelines like, I don't know like what, but it's jumping around in timelines, and we don't really always get a year, so, or a kind of hint to where we're at in the narrative. So there's that. If you don't like that, keep away from this book because it will drive you insane. Then we have a lot of POV characters. It begins with Mira as a first-person narrator, and then it changes. Basically every character that shows up gets a first-person narrative chapter, multiple chapters. Some people just get one chapter. Some chapters are about random stuff that seems very random, but I think was glorious, like the little bit of the Persephone retelling. So just a few chapters. It doesn't really have to do anything with the story, with the main story, but it's in there. And it was a lot of fun. My favorite character was probably Aunt Eva. She was great. Let me just check what her name was. Yeah, Aunt Eva was my favorite character. So yeah, as I said, I loved it. This book is pure chaos. What I especially loved about it was that it is so... It's kind of hard to tell if it's just not structured at all or if it is super structured, because the scenes are, at first it does not make any sense. it seems kind of random, but what I loved about it so much is that you have to stay conscious the whole time while you're reading it, because you have to pick the information out of the text, and you have to kind of fit the pieces together for yourself as a reader. You have to interpret a lot by yourself and find out a lot of things through the context of the narrative, and I really love that. I really love books that make me think. It reminded me a little bit in regards of that of the Night Circus. So that is one of my favorite books. This is one of my favorite books. I definitely need to reread this though and take notes and to properly get everything out that I can take out of this story, and I really loved it. It is very fantasy, and as I said, if you don't like jumping around in timelines and multiple characters, and it is very unique. The writing style is also very lyrical and unique, and I can see how people don't like it. I can definitely see that you hear me raving about it basically and gushing about it, and you pick it up and you think like this is complete shit, because it is very different, and I really don't think that this is for everybody, and that's fine, but just be warned, maybe you have to, I can't really recommend it because it's so different. I hope you will pick it up and read it now, but anyways, I'm rambling. Of course there were a few things that I really don't know what to make of at this point in my life. Also, I thought I was so stupid in the beginning. I thought this was a little bit of a children's book, and it begins a little bit like a children's fairy tale, but it's not a children's book. It is very violent. You need to know this. This is very violent and bloody and dark and gory. So if these are things that you don't like, don't bother with this book. I loved it, but there were things that I didn't like there's a scene when a character grows up very quickly and the relationship changes between two characters, and I don't think that this should have happened, or that this relationship needed this change, because I didn't read it as such a relationship, and if it was this relationship as it was in the end, if it was like that in the beginning, then this is very twisted and sick, and I'm not okay with that. But yeah, I hope you will have a lovely day, a lovely week, a lovely weekend, and I will see you soon. Bye!